Hi everyone. Um, I'm trying to be as real or as raw as possible, so I didn't slather on makeup or do my hair or change my clothes or anything, or get a fancy background. But I wanted this channel to be about, struggling with your weight and things like that. And I think depression and anxiety contribute a lot or is involved with your weight issue, whether you're underweight or overweight, and it definitely contributes to mine. Um, I've had depression since I was 12. That's the earliest I can remember. I grew up in a very small town out in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the woods. So I didn't get a lot of social interaction. My mother had narcissistic personality disorder. So growing up in that house was rough, especially after my parents got divorced and there was no one there to kind of like keep her in check, I guess. So her narcissism just exploded. Um, yeah. So it was rough. I went to a very small school, K through 12, where everyone knew everyone. I had the typical sucky high school life. I didn't have a lot of friends. But yeah, my most social interaction was with my younger sister, my half sister, but she's always been my sister to me. Um, Parents, especially my mother, always compared us. Sister was the golden child, and I wasn't. And I didn't even know until I was 13 that my dad wasn't my biological dad. My mom waited till they got divorced to tell me that he wasn't my biological dad. Not that it mattered to me at the time. But it was a weird thing to spring on me. And at one point, my mother told me about how much I reminded her of my biological dad. And it makes sense. I don't look anything like my sister. We don't look related at all. And I look a lot like my biological dad, and I think I reminded my mother and my dad of him. I don't know for certain, but it would make sense. My sister moved out when she was 12 or 13 to live with her dad, and it kind of left me alone with my mom. And things got really bad. I think she always hindered me from being independent. Like, she always wanted me to rely on her. And I did for a really long time. I got pregnant, I got pregnant at 18, but I was constantly looking for love. Like, I wanted to feel cared about. I wanted to feel loved. And so I looked for that in what else than men. I hopped from man to man looking for that. I got pregnant with my daughter at 18. And I don't know where I was going with that thought, but I got pregnant with my daughter at 18. And I lived with my mom. And I met a man online. And I thought, this is my ticket out of here. He he had already been on his own for a while. I'd never lived on my own at that point, so I thought that was cool. We got an apartment together, a 2-bedroom. We lived in town. I thought this is awesome, but he wasn't working. He wasn't trying to work. And I was paying for everything, which at the time it was just whatever. And he was constantly going back to his ex-wife. And I don't know why I kept excusing that, because I thought he loved me. And he played all these mind games. And the sad thing is, those mind games are the same mind games my mother played. And so it felt at home, like I knew this. I knew how to respond to this. It was normal. I ended up getting pregnant with my son. We moved in with his parents for a little while till we saved up to get a place of our own. He asked me to marry him. I didn't want to. At that point, he started showing some serious signs of aggression, anger. It was scary. I tried talking to my mother about it. She was no help. She told me I had to marry him. She said, "You're pregnant." Speaking of which, when I told her I was pregnant, she said, "I will never love that baby like I love your daughter." Which, boy, didn't that come true. But that's later on. So I married him. We moved into our own place, and the abuse got way worse since we weren't living with his parents anymore. Yelling, screaming, hitting. He didn't hit me a whole lot, but once is too many, though. And I started eating. Eating made me happy. I could control the food I was eating. I couldn't control things that were happening outside my life, but I could control the food. And after I had my son, just couldn't lose the weight. It was 150 or 160 after I had him. When he was about 18 months old, I started noticing some regression. And I took him to the doctor. We had him evaluated. He told me, "Looks like autism." I didn't know much about autism at the time. I kept thinking, no, there's no way. He's just a boy. Boys mature slower than girls. And, but it got to a point where, I had to accept it. Too many signs. And my ex-husband never wanted to accept it. And he started getting really distant, spending a lot more time out of the house, which at the time I was grateful for because he was kind of an ass. But then I found out he was having an affair. And she was 16. She was 15 or 16, which is gross. I completely lost my shit. I was like, this is disgusting. And he admitted that he loved her, and her parents were okay with it. Just, ew. So I filed for divorce. Part of me was kind of relieved because I was looking for an excuse to get a divorce because the abuse was not enough for my mom or my family. I would try and call my mom and talk to her about it, and she would tell me I was overreacting, or, it happens, or I need to watch. What I say. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm trailing off and getting deep into stuff, but the thing is just, there's a lot that's happened in my past that I'm trying really hard to forget, but I can't. It bubbles up. About, I don't know, 6 months ago, no, it was longer, 7 or 8 months ago, my daughter decided that she wanted to live with my sister. She said that she just thinks she'd be happier there. We have had to move around a lot, and I've hopped from one, hopped around from one abusive person to another. They were never abusive to the kids at all. They weren't abusive to me in front of them. But, I would be stupid to assume that they never knew, you know. It's a lot of regret. A lot of regret in that. So, my daughter came to me, and she's 14. She'll be 15 soon. But she talked to me about it, and I understood where she was coming from. And as hard as it was, and as much as I wanted to say no, she told me that she loved me, and she still loves me, and she'll visit. Just that she'll be happier living with my sister, because a year ago we moved to the state that my sister lives in, and we lived with her for 6 months while I saved up money to get my own place. Fresh start. And I guess my sister has a really good job, a really good husband, a really nice house. Things that, I wasn't providing my daughter with, all the extravagant stuff, and that was hard, but I understood. She's 14, that stuff matters. And so when I got my own place, she told me she didn't want to move. She wanted to stay with my sister. And, me and my sister talked about it. It was hard. Especially because, my whole life I was compared to her. My mom and dad preferred her over me. Everyone did. And I was never jealous. I was always happy for her. I was proud of her. I was proud that, she graduated college, and she paid her way through college, and she got a good job, and she got a good house, and she married a really good guy. Those are things that she worked hard for, and I was very proud of her. And then to have my daughter, pick her. It's been really hard to deal with. You see, I moved into my new place in June, and in October, I was only about an hour and a half away, so it wasn't that far. So I thought, it's only an hour and a half away. It's not that bad. Then they decided to move out of state. And that was really hard. Now she's states away. We still talk every day. She's coming to visit me this summer, but as a parent, it just hurts. I want what's best for her. I really do. I want her to be happy, even if that means not being with me. I know having a brother with autism is really hard, and she never complained. She's a really good kid. I just miss her. The void is deafening. Not hearing her laugh, seeing her face, seeing her every morning. So, just feels like ever since I was 12, I've just continuously been dealing with stuff that it makes it hard to, you know, chill out and get a hold of myself. So now I'm here by myself with my son in a town where I don't know anybody, in a state that I have no one in. It's very isolating. And then I was having some issues, and my doctor found out that, I have a thyroid disease, which contributes to depression and insomnia. So I'm like, great. So I'm hoping, I'm on different hormones and hoping that it helps. The insomnia is hard. You have trouble sleeping, and then you are tired. And the tiredness adds to your depression, and your depression adds to your anxiety. My social anxiety is so bad, it's hard for me to make phone calls sometimes. It's hard for me to initiate conversations. And, there's so much more stuff I haven't even mentioned. This is just what I've been thinking about today. I'm trying and struggling. I'm trying to put these pieces of my life back together. And it's hard. I told myself I can make it through anything as long as I have my kids. As long as I have my kids, I can make it through anything. And now, my daughter is not here. I haven't seen her in a few months. Can't wait for her to visit this summer. I want her to see who I am now that I'm on my own. I'm my own person. I want her to see that a happy mother. I want her to see someone who's outgoing. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. So I needed help with this TV, but it's probably a good break that I needed. Clear my head, but yeah. Just if you guys are suffering from depression, or maybe in the same situation with your parents or not having any family, feel free to leave a comment down below or message me privately or something, because it's always good to talk with people that you can relate to, who make you feel like you're not alone. Because when you're deep in the thick of depression and anxiety, you feel like you're in a hole and it's dark and there's no ladder. But in reality, you're not alone. So, I don't know. I rambled on for a really long time. I wasn't expecting to. Just having a hard day. Hopefully tomorrow's better. I'm really hoping tomorrow's better. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully the next time I see you, I'm in better spirits and hopefully a little thinner. My weigh-in is on Thursday. Been keeping track with my calories and biking. I haven't biked today yet, but I plan on it. I want to hit my 30-minute goal. Probably do it when my son gets to bed. He tends to want to hang around whenever I'm on it, and I'm always worried about the pedals hitting his shins or something. So anyways, thank you guys for taking the time to listen to my blubberness, and yeah, have a good night.